Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Diligent Picks. Today I'm doing a monthly movie review of everything I watched in March 2021. This is an exciting time for movies. There's a lot of places around the world that are opening again, including my own area. A lot of theaters are coming back, so I'm definitely excited to talk about all these films and very excited for the future of all the films I'm going to get to see in the theaters again. Let's go ahead and jump right into this list so I can give you guys my quick thoughts on each movie. Alright guys, so the first movie we have here is called The Night. This is an Iranian American horror film, and I actually got to see this on Apple TV. I was very excited because I actually know someone who graduated from the same college that I went to who produced the film, and I actually got to write an article for my local paper about him and the film. So I might include a link in the description if you want to check that out. But as far as this film goes, it's very interesting. It's about this couple who go to this hotel and start to see a bunch of strange things and have to come to grips with secrets that they're holding within their relationship. Very interesting horror film. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Yeah, like I said, you can rent it pretty much on any major VOD service right now. Next we got The United States versus Billie Holiday. I got to see this on Hulu, and I was excited after hearing about Andra Day. I was very unfamiliar with her, and same with Billie Holiday, but I had heard great things about her performance. She won the Golden Globe, and yes, she is phenomenal. This film as a whole I thought was okay. It has kind of a weird stylization to it, but I think it was overall a very good depiction, and she, I think, absolutely deserved that award, and I think she could possibly win the Oscar for it too. So I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you're interested in Billie Holiday's story or you just want to try out a different film. She does sing all the songs, and she does a fantastic job. Next we have horror comedy Freaky. This film is a lot of fun. It's kind of a cross between like Freaky Friday and kind of a Friday the 13th film. I enjoyed the sort of body swapping style here, with Vince Vaughn becoming a teenager and Catherine Newton becoming a Vince Vaughn super tall serial killer. This film was a lot of fun. I think it was a little strange at times and could have been a little tighter. It feels like they were kind of running out of things to do at certain points, but definitely a lot of fun. You know, if you're a fan of horror comedies, you should check it out for sure. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. This was a very good film, very difficult to watch. Deals with someone who is trying to figure out what to do about her pregnancy, seeing if she can find an abortion clinic, and kind of her journey crossing all of the issues that come with that. Being a teenager and all sorts of different issues that people have when they're going through that. Definitely a great film to check out. You know, there are some parts that are hard to watch, but I do highly recommend it. You can rent that on pretty much any VOD service. Scare Me. This was another fun horror comedy that I checked out. I like the idea behind this one. It has two writers who are just hanging out at one of their cabins and decide to tell scary stories, and the film does a good job with editing in these imaginary stories and sound effects, and things kind of take a turn because things start to get a little too real for the main male character in this film, and there's some interesting surprises. But I thought this was a lot of fun. You know, it's not for everyone, but for people that love horror comedy, I think you're gonna have a blast. I saw this on Shudder. Argo. I finally checked out this Best Picture winner. I had never seen it before and wasn't familiar with the background of the story whatsoever. But I did enjoy it. It wasn't normally a film that I would have a lot of interest in, but I like everything about the setup, and I think all the performances were good. I don't think I'll probably see it again anytime soon, but I'm definitely glad I watched it, for those of you who might be interested in checking it out but never got around to seeing it. The Winter Lake. This is a film that I reviewed on my channel, so I won't go into too much detail here, but it deals with a mystery as this young boy finds a skull in a lake, and he meets these neighbors of his who apparently have something to do with that, and it's kind of a mystery thriller, and we're trying to kind of figure out who to trust and whatnot. Definitely check out my review if you want to see more about that, but I did enjoy this film. I would definitely check it out if you're interested in thrillers and mystery films, and overall lots of good performances here. Let Him Go, the Kevin Costner and Diane Lane film. I enjoyed this one quite a lot. It almost had like a Western feel, even though it wasn't. It definitely was a movie that kind of took its time, and then it gets pretty intense at times, and by the end of it, it definitely hits you. But yeah, you know, it's about a family who's trying to find and bring back their grandson after their son died, and their daughter-in-law and that family has kind of fled town, and so there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on in this movie. I think it's one that a lot of people will enjoy. It's not a film that I would probably see again, but I did like it. Judas and the Black Messiah. This was a fantastic film. I love both Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield. This film looks gorgeous. I saw it on HBO Max, and I really enjoyed the entire, really the idea behind it. You know, it was very interesting to see this real story come to life, and something I definitely knew nothing about going into. I am happy to see all the awards this film is being nominated for. Escape from Pretoria. Now, this is a film that I didn't know the background story about either. You know, about these people who were living in somewhere in Africa, and they during a time where they're trying to kind of end, you know, racism and all sorts of things going on, and they end up getting arrested, and it's basically your, you know, kind of Prison Break style movie. It's definitely not, you know, anywhere near as great or as timeless as, say, The Shawshank Redemption, but if you're into Prison Break movies, this one is definitely got all the elements there, and I really enjoyed it. There were some moments that were so intense, I was like bracing myself to, you know, hope nothing was going to happen to our characters. You know, we have, what's his name from Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. He's in it, he does a great job. Definitely a film that I would recommend, and I feel like this kind of went under the radar for a lot of people, so I would check it out. Captain Fantastic. This is a film that came out in 2016 and was a popular kind of award contender at the time. Viggo Mortensen is in it, about a father who's trying to raise his like 7 kids or so by himself. When there's the mom passes away, he sets out to go to their funeral service, and you know, he raises his children in a very unorthodox way, so it deals a lot with kind of the realities of the real world and how people look at parents that raise kids in very different ways. So there's a lot of interesting things to take away, and this film was also very funny. I would highly recommend checking it out if you guys haven't. That is also on Netflix, actually. Speaking of another Netflix film, The White Tiger, I decided to check this out after hearing about its Oscar nomination for original screenplay, or was it adapted screenplay? I think it was adapted. But yes, this film I enjoyed quite a bit. It was very different from what I'm used to. I really enjoyed the cast, the characters. You know, it's kind of about this young kid growing up in India who doesn't have anything, and he gets a great job, but he's kind of trying to figure out how to become, you know, a very rich man, and kind of his journey to get away from his kind of harsh upbringing. So definitely a movie that I would check out, and I think a lot of people enjoy this one if you haven't seen it. Hillbilly Elegy. So I finally decided to check this one out. I had heard about Glenn Close being nominated not only for the Oscar for supporting actress, but also for the Razzie. So that really got my attention. I was like, how is she nominated both for the best award and the worst award? I think she did a fine job. And, you know, this movie surprised me. I liked it more than I was expecting. I actually was surprised that it wasn't dealing with her or the other main lead actress in the film, whose name is I'm now blanking out on. But the main male character, it's really from his perspective, the son in the family, and I liked a lot of his issues trying to figure out how to navigate his family problems while also trying to apply to all these great jobs as he's getting ready to, you know, graduate college and things like that. So definitely a movie that I think is one that you should just give a chance. It's not for everyone, but I think most people will like it. It's on Netflix. Zack Snyder's Justice League. So this is a film that I think is far superior than the original cut. You should definitely check it out if you haven't yet. It is a commitment though, 4 hours. Maybe take your time. It is split up in parts, but pretty much everything about it I thought was better. I think the runtime is probably still a little bit long. Maybe cut it to 3 hours and 30 minutes. I don't know, but you know, I definitely think this was a great service that was able to come out, and Zack Snyder was able to get his justice. You know, can't go wrong. I think this film is far superior than what we got before. So definitely check that out. Oh boy, The Sandlot. You guys know I love The Sandlot. I've talked about it before. It's one of my favorite films of all time. Very quotable, enjoyable movie. Everyone should watch it if they haven't seen it. Just every single time I watch it, I notice something new, and I love it more and more. It is just a classic 90s kids film that has, you know, kept its cult following. Definitely need to see The Sandlot. Weathering with You. Here we have another film, an anime film that I have now seen about 4 times, and I enjoy it every time. I learn more and more each time I watch it. Definitely a movie that I would recommend seeing. It is gorgeous. I also reviewed this film. Just a fantastic film with great music that really moves me whenever I watch it, so definitely check that out. I also reviewed this film, Ongaku, Our Sound. This is an anime film that not a lot of people know about. I highly recommend checking this film out. It was shot in rotoscope, and you know, it took like 7 years to make. I think this is a movie that really deserves a lot more attention. I did review it, as I said, and I would, you know, appreciate it if you guys wanted to check that out. It's one of those films that is just so fun to watch. It's just a really chill, laid-back movie, so definitely recommend it. Promising Young Woman. This was a film that really hit me and surprised me. I really enjoyed it through and through. I've seen it twice now. I was very surprised by it. I don't really want to talk about. I have reviewed it. I don't want to reveal too much about it, but you know, the performances, the style of it, the writing. I do think this film deserves some awards. So I'm hoping that, you know, Carey Mulligan or maybe a screenplay award will come into play at the Oscars. So definitely need to check out Promising Young Woman, you guys. The Informer. This film I thought was pretty good. I didn't know anything about it going into it, and I liked the synopsis about this, informant for the FBI who has to go into the prison, and he has all these things going against him. And I had never really seen this actor before, but I think he did a great job. Definitely a movie that I think a lot of people will enjoy, especially if you're into crime dramas. But I guess for me, it's not a genre I'm into that much, but I think it did a good job, and I look forward to seeing what he and this director continue to do. Violation. Okay, this movie was very strange. I was tempted to review it, but it was not quite something I wanted to talk about too much. Deals with a woman who's trying to sort of get a revenge on a situation with her sister's husband, who, well, let's just say there was a sexual assault. But this movie is pretty surprising, great performances, a bit slow, but I think for those of you that, you know, are really into thrillers, and I don't know if I'd go so far as to call this a horror film, but I guess it kind of is. I would definitely recommend seeing it sometime just to see what you think. Time. This is a new documentary. I really enjoyed this one. I like that it was shot in black and white. You know, it's about this wife who is trying to live her life while her husband is serving a 60-year prison sentence, and how she's trying to find a way to help get him out. It feels like a movie that is just, you know, they have all this footage throughout her life and with her children, and it's a really moving film, and It's a movie that will really hit you at the end if you're able to get invested in the story. I really did enjoy it. Better Days. This is the Chinese film that was nominated for Best International Film. I really enjoyed this. It was surprising. I think I went in with lower expectations for some reason. But I like the story about kind of, you know, bullying in society. This film has a lot to say about that. And I thought the two lead characters were very strong, you know, great performances from them. I do think it's a little bit long. It could be a little shorter. At times it felt like the pacing could have been tighter, but definitely a movie I think a lot of people should check out if they haven't already. A Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. So I was disappointed. I've never seen Shaun the Sheep, so that's my bad, but I went into this film just because I knew it was nominated for Best Animated Feature, but I think because I didn't realize that the Shaun the Sheep films, I don't know if all of them are like this, but this one has no dialogue, and maybe I just wasn't in the right mood for that, but I had a hard time just really retaining any interest while watching the film, and that really took away my enjoyment of it. I think the animation is great, but yeah, I honestly was not a big fan of this one, you guys. I'm sorry. But let me know if you think I should start from the beginning and see the first film, and then maybe give this one another chance. News of the World. I did a recent review on this. I definitely enjoyed this film. Tom Hanks is great. I love the young actress Helena Zengel. You know, it's always nice to watch a Western from time to time. I do think this film could have been a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more emotionally investing, but I did enjoy it a lot. I definitely recommend checking it out if you guys haven't seen it. Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. I finally gave this a chance, you guys. This was nominated for Best Song, which is funny. If you know the film, it's kind of ironic that it was, but yeah, you know, this is a very goofy comedy, but I think maybe I went in with low expectations and that helped, but I enjoyed it actually quite a bit. I don't know if I'll be revisiting it, but I definitely had a good time. You know, it was a fun, kind of inspiring movie in a sense, and yeah, if you guys are in the mood for a good laugh, some Will Ferrell, some Rachel McAdams, you know, can't go wrong. Alright guys, here we are near the end. The Midnight Sky. You know, this movie I had a really hard time getting into, but I did enjoy the visuals, the music. That was the main reason I saw it, was the score from Alexander Desplat. And I think this film had a lot of potential, but I just feel like it was really slow paced, and it could have been a lot more interesting, maybe a little bit more action in some points, but I definitely like the relationship between George Clooney and the young girl in the film. I wish they actually showed more of that. But yeah, definitely a movie that I was not really ready to see for a long time, and then I finally just decided to give it a go. Yeah, that's on Netflix if you guys want to see it. And last but certainly not least, The Mole Agent. This is a documentary, and I really enjoyed this film. You know, we see this this man hires an 83-year-old guy to go into a nursing home and sort of act as a mole and investigate whether a particular person there is being treated unfairly by the caregivers. And I think this film did a great job of kind of showing us a lot of lighthearted comedy in the situation, but also kind of shifting toward a much more kind of emotional investing story. I like the entire direction of it. It does feel a tiny gimmicky at times, but definitely something that surprised me. I thought I would be kind of bored watching this one, to be honest, but yeah, I wasn't. It's a good film, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. Alright guys, that does it for every film that I watched in March. I don't know how many that was, but it was definitely in the mid-20s. And yeah, let me know what you guys have been watching lately. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on any of these films, and if you have any others to recommend from after seeing this list. Let's chat below in the comments. As always, my name is Dylan, and if you love entertainment, subscribe to my channel while this video ends and send me a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching, and stay diligent.